Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in to Network Live TV, where we're going to talk about how to increase your networking efforts locally, nationally, or even internationally, and discuss things that will help you up your game online. We are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Every Monday, I have my co-host, Lynn Schussler-Williams, which is with us. And today we have Wendy Manganaro. So excited to tell you both about these ladies and introduce them both to you. First, let me tell you, I am your host, Sabrina Watson, founder of NetworkLiveVirtually.com, where you can grow your business through creating live virtual relationships all over the world. You guys, come on. It's time to step into networking in the 21st century. Our meetings and membership are totally free, so don't miss your opportunity. Come join us. I want to also let everybody know that we are looking for people who are absolutely serious about building their brand and their businesses while establishing their authority and creating a larger circle of influence to come be hosts with us on Network Live Virtually. So if you feel like you're a team player, self-motivated, and dependable, reach out to me so that I can discuss the benefits of being a host with us on our website with you. Of course, I want to thank my co-host, Miss Lynn Schussler-Williams. Yay!
Hi.
Author of 9 Little Words to Change Your Results, as well as, I guess it's just a second version of the book. Is it out?
It is. Second edition. It's out. Yes. Available on Amazon.
Available on Amazon. I'm going to let her tell you all about that. I want to introduce you to our guest today, Miss Wendy Manganaro, that I'm so excited about. I am working with Wendy. She's helping me define my target market and some other things. I think she's kind of digging a little deep. She's kind of making me figure out stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're going to talk about stuff. I don't know even how you define that stuff, but anyway. So let me introduce her, Wendy Manganaro. She's the founder of Social Abundance Marketing. She helps frustrated, heart-centered entrepreneurs attract, resonate, and engage with their social media communities so that they can feel more productive and stress-free. Before Wendy started coaching, she was a social media strategist for such companies as Baby's Badass Burgers and Source for Teachers. Currently, she enjoys working with entrepreneurs and businesses nationally and internationally. As a natural problem solver and people connector, Wendy's clients can expect a fresh perspective on their social media strategy and implementation. And she's going to tell us all of how to find her. And I do have to honestly say to the people that are watching here, she really has brought a fresh perspective to my social media plan. Just some of the questions that you're asking me have really caused me to have some changes. So Wendy, I want to hear your history. Tell your history a little bit. And then of course we'll get my co-host is going to ask you a gazillion questions and I want to introduce her because she's really good at this stuff. So give us your story about how you got where you got.
Well, it's been a long and windy road. It certainly did not start here. I have always wanted to help people, which is a fantastic thing. I thought I was going to do it in a completely different way. I went to school to be a criminal justice major. I was going to put bad guys behind bars, and then realized after I got my degree and went on all these interviews and was going to be hired all over the state of New Jersey that I didn't like guns, which is really not good if you want to be a police officer or a correction officer. So I actually went into the nonprofit field for a long time. Part of, as I went up in the ranks, was to go out and network. I was going to 7 to 10 networking events a week, plus running a full-time department. We help people get jobs who had disabilities and welfare to work and all that wonderful stuff. And my son was born with a disability, and I asked if I could work from home so that I didn't have to send him to medical daycare, and they said no. I said, do we know what we do here? And that was the time in calling for me to leave and say, wow, this is not for me. So I came home, and because I had already a great standing in the community as far as networking and people knowing me, one of my colleagues, Marilyn Kleinberg, who ran an eWomen Network chapter in South Jersey, we sat down and she said, well, what are you going to do now? because the idea of being a stay-at-home mom lasted for like literally a day. And I went, no, I can't just do that. That's not going to work. And I started my first company, Social Abundance Marketing. And I started it because I had gone to enough networking events for me to walk around and realize the hot topic was that people didn't not get Facebook, but they didn't get how it was marketing. It was like, it was the best marketing out there for free at that time. And I would just talk to people after people, and they were frustrated with it and they were aggravated. So the beginning of my time, and I have gone through the whole progression of changes of social media since then, was I was just going to work with women entrepreneurs and do a couple updates on their social media because I was an English minor and I loved to write and I got it. I could help them with their messaging. That's all I was going to do. I was so wrong about that was all that there was to it. And so my journey began, and I've been working with companies ever since and helping them strategize. And really my biggest goal is always to stay on top of all of the changes. And to me, it's like a puzzle piece. So if you can figure out what puzzle piece they removed and what new one has to come in, you'll always know how to work social media in a way that works with people. And so, and it's been a fantastic career because not only have I met people throughout the world doing it, I have been able to see how many people have aha moments when they start to get it. And that to me is like the best value ever, that when they start to think of it differently, because so many people go from networking in person and then they get online and they don't know how to convert that over. They do great. I see some of the best networkers in the world, and they get online and they don't know their brand or their purpose or how to move those connections along. So that's what I work with. I work on, okay, let's see what your target really, really is. And if you can do that out there, you can do that on here, but we're going to figure out the best way for you to do it. And so I stay away from cookie cutter social media. I don't really believe in it. It's not really popular.
No, it's not. And we've had this conversation, but anyway, go ahead. Right. I do want to bring that up too.
Yeah, so I stay far away from cookie cutter social media. Everybody I work with gets their own questionnaires, they get their own questions, and we come up with a strategy and plan, because the difference between every single business is the person who leads it. And if you can't interact and know what your why is, it does not convert on social. It just does not. So I work with them finding out their why, which they may already have. But a lot of times people get so frustrated with social media, or it's so much work. They see it as work. They don't see it as part of a complete marketing goal or a complete marketing strategy. And so then they step away and they're frustrated and they go, that doesn't work. And they shut down a door that really could be useful and do them some good. So that's my story.
Wendy, I want to point out to everybody, especially people that will see this replay, you don't just say, hey, let's do social media. You say, who is your target market? How are we going to reach them? What is the best way? When is the best way? When is the best time? Why will they pay attention? So let's talk about that approach, because I think that's a really important part of what you do.
Yeah, and I think, I was just on Kat's show the other day and we were talking about Facebook ads, but I think this is in general about social media. People put the cart before the horse all the time. They go on to social. I can't tell you through the years how many people at times I've gotten this call. I need to be on. Does anybody remember Google Buzz? Anybody? Exactly.
Not really.
Exactly.
No.
And so this is what happens is that all of these, and they're wonderful. They're great different types of social media. There's specialty social media, and it's all fantastic. But if your target market isn't on there, if you don't even know who your target market is, how can you go on to any platform and speak in a way that's going to connect with them? Because the other difference is that once you know who you are and what you're going to say and what problems you solve, then it's really learning how to connect on that specific platform for how they react. Another thing that I see all the time people connect everything. They have their Facebook connected to their Twitter, their LinkedIn connected to their Twitter, and there is no messaging. And the audience on those platforms feel like if you did not have the care enough to speak to me directly on this platform, why should I care enough to click on your link? It's got to be a two-way street. So I back it up, and we really go into who is the business, and if it's an entrepreneur, if you're the business, and who are you? Because those special things are the special things you're going to bring online. After you know who you are, the next thing that I really look at is who really is your target market. Most of us know our target market because we want to do business with people who are like-minded as us. We want to do business. We don't want to, the frustrated entrepreneurs is one of the biggest thing is that I hear is that they don't like their clients. Have you ever worked with somebody who does not like their clients?
Ugh.
Or they call you with that, oh my gosh, this client is just the worst in the world. But if you really knew who you were, you wouldn't have to take those clients, because then we get into a desperation thing. We're going to take even though all the signs are bad. I ask Christy, she knows I've been guilty of this, and I just stopped doing it. I just stopped doing it because here's the thing. If I know who I am, if I really know who my target market is, then I'm going to attract all of those people into my in-person community and my online community. Once I know that, then what I really need to do is listen to what people are saying, what problems that they need me to solve. I really need to know that in order for me to effectively market to them. Because unlike traditional marketing where the businesses would tell you what you need, it is our turn to listen so that we do not become a commodity and then be able to actually solve those problems. Right now, and I'll open it up to anybody, I just had a great conversation with Daniel last week. I am actually doing 100 entrepreneur challenge to speak to 100 entrepreneurs for no other reason, just to figure out what their biggest problems with social media is, and what if they had a magic wand to fix it, what it would look like, and how their life would be different because of it. Well, and I'm in the game for a while, and I still need to do that.
I got to tell you, I could totally tell you what magic wand item I need. But first, if I could ask a question, do you two know each other?
No.
Oh, okay. I was sitting here and I'm thinking, wait a minute, they're in the same area. Maybe they already know each other, because we're so virtual, you forget that people might actually be like next door. Because you don't think about them being next door anymore. Because I think of everybody being in like Puerto Rico or Costa Rica or UK or, you know what I mean, everywhere. But I never think about the fact that two people, you guys are in the same area.
Really?
Yeah. So isn't that hysterical? Yes. So let me tell you about Lynn. And Lynn Schussler-Williams, she is the Indie Sales Coach, and she's a nationally recognized speaker, a certified coach, a networking and sales expert, and author of 9 Little Words to Change Your Results. She's absolutely amazing also.
I pay her to say this stuff.
Oh my God. You two are just like the most amazing people for me. So Lynn teaches a thinking technology that changes perspectives and increases results. She works with business owners, solopreneurs, independent salespeople, and groups, helping her clients build their dreams, accelerate their results, and create richer, more fulfilling lives. Lynn loves helping her clients learn that they never need sound salesy, and that a success mindset begins with knowing that selling equals serving. You two are like perfect for each other. Right?
Yeah.
So Lynn, give Wendy an intro to you, who you are, what you do, and a little bit of your background.
So, gosh, I don't know what I can say other than what you just said, which I never get tired of hearing you say that intro. It just makes my heart sing so much. But, my clients are generally people who, about 85% of my clients, Wendy, are solopreneurs. They are coaches. They're consultants of every variety. And then I have a few that are just really small businesses. They're where my heart is. I like the smaller businesses. And for the most part, I work with people who they're in business because they love doing something or they're great at something and nobody told them they were going to have to sell it, much less they were going to have to sell themselves, right? They're the whole business. And that's what I love, is waking people up to their process, their sales process, and their sales language, and all of that, that reduces that stigma of, I don't want to sell. I sure don't want to have to sell me. So that's what I do. And my second edition of my book just came out about a week ago, and I'm excited about that. The Amazon link is back up, so I'll put that in the chat for everybody. And that's what's going on with me. Oh, I lost you.
Yeah, I hear you.
I lost your audio for a minute, Sabrina. What did you say?
Yeah.
Testy, testy, testy.
There we go.
There we go. Well, what I find interesting about the two of you is that I feel like your fields crossover or merge or complement each other, because
Complement more, yeah.
Lynn teaches sales, and you're similarly teaching sales, Wendy, but in a different way, right?
Yeah. And I think for me, and I don't know if one agrees, is that sales and marketing are two different things. And people confuse that all the time. I'm really a marketing strategist, so that I work on the holistic strategy so that you can incorporate it when they sales. But I don't know if you agree with me. Do you go to meeting marketing? When I go to networking events, live ones, like in real person, you always have that person that comes from the small business, and they go, "I'm the marketing director. I'm here to help sell." And I'm like, it's, and I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that poor person, she's trying to do jobs. And, so I think they really do complement each other, especially with the way that you're talking. But to me, that they are somewhat separate.
Oh, yeah.
In the fact that sales are usually marketing is icky too to some people, but if you do sales right, it doesn't have to be icky.
Right. And, for my clients who are very small businesses, in my mind, marketing is about sales promotion, right? So they don't have the budget to do like big branding. Right? Branding is something, that is beyond them in a budget, right? But marketing is still so important, and they do exactly what Wendy's talking about. They lump them into sales and marketing like it was all one word, but it isn't. And I definitely don't do what Wendy does. We talk about some of the same things to our clients. I talk to my clients about who is your target market, because we can't create a sales message to them if they don't know that. And if they have a marketing strategist as well, oftentimes we're both working on them with that same kind of core message, or maybe they came to one of us first, and then the other one, which just means the other person gets the bonus of I don't have to dig as deep with them. So, there's some of those same conversations, but I really believe what you said, Wendy, that they are completely separate, and that especially for small businesses and solopreneurs, they often get lumped together, because those people are their whole business. And it's one of the places that I often say, go hire somebody to help you with that.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, and I think that's the reason why, is that they don't know that a strategy is something that's separate, as far as if they consistently did a strategy, they don't always have to go bigger and bigger and bigger. They just need to come up with one strategy and then do it consistently, which is and just like social media is, because people are like, well, I did it one time last year, I made that Facebook page, and I'm like, okay, now what? And because here, unlike a website, and unlike a website even 10 years ago where it was build it and they'll come, that's just not the case anymore. It's build it and be consistent all the way around. And I think that holistically, there needs to be a broader view of it, of what marketing and a strategy looks like. And then how are you going to take that and develop that into a sales funnel that'll actually work? Because the other thing that I always talk about is that social media is part of the sales funnel, but a lot of people
Right.
want to start with it up here and think that that's the other thing. They think that nothing else needs to be done. If I go on social, there's my sales funnel. And I'm like, well, what if your sales funnel is really that you've met the client in person, they've liked you, you've talked to them, and now it's about customer service, and that's your marketing on that side of it.
Right.
So I think there's the other thing too, is that if you don't know where social lands in that sales funnel, it's not going to work for you, because you're trying to do it either here where it's I'm going to spend a zillion in ads and get frustrated because it's not bringing in new clients, or I'm not going to spend anything in ads to keep up with the clients that maybe, 20% of your business paid all your bills, and that's so that it's really important for you to have a place that'll resonate online with those customers so that you can keep in touch with them in a different way.
Did you notice, Lynn, when I just pinned your link there in the scene?
Yeah.
All it gave us was a white Amazon box.
I did.
I'm bummed by that. I was hoping it would show a picture of your book. Do you have your book? Hold up
Did
your
you?
book.
I do. Can I reach one? I'll find one. I'll find one when somebody else is talking. I don't think I have one I can reach.
Part of it, let's give some of our viewers some tips and tricks, Wendy, that they can actually take away with them from both of you, actually. So, Wendy, first of all, we need to be able to define our target market. So everybody who wants to friend me, what should I do with all those people?
Okay, so, and it depends on the platform, but it really doesn't matter. So here's the thing, is that I find that people, especially on LinkedIn, we'll just talk LinkedIn for a minute because this happens the most. I get more people who try to connect with me, and I'm like, you are not even slightly in my target market. And I know that sounds like really closed-minded, because everybody's like, well, what if that person knows that person, perfect person? If you have connected with me, or you have tried to connect with me, and I don't see that you're trying to reach out with me, you really know anybody I know, I'm probably not going to connect with you, because it's not going to turn into something later. I can't tell you how many people I even have to go through, and I will still clean out my LinkedIn. And it's not because, I have loads of connections, and I'm like, I don't know how these people, they've connected with me and I've never heard from them. There's been no communication for since the day we connected. And so clean that out. Don't be afraid to. The things that you want to look at is, are they really active on that social media platform? Is that social media platform really where your target market hangs out before you get too involved in it anyway? And then once that you're on there, is things like this. Are they not only active, or do they have complete profiles? The one thing I will say on a different basis is that Facebook has had a lot of fake people coming up with a zillion friend requests. I have a really general rule with that. If I go in and it may be because you're really private, you can make yourself so private that it doesn't look like you went on Facebook yesterday. And that's great. I have no problem with that. If that's the way you feel, that's wonderful. But if you go on there and it doesn't look or feel right, don't accept the friend request. The other thing is that a lot of duplicates are happening now. I don't know if you know that that's the other scam, is that they're taking, for my last name, maybe they'll leave out an hour, and they'll take your profile picture and your cover photo because it's a real one, and they'll make a new profile and then friend all your friends.
For what reason do they do that stuff, Wendy?
Well, eventually it becomes a scam of it can, it doesn't always, usually people catch it first, but once they start to steal your identity, they can show that they have an identity online, that it's you, and that you have friends, and that they can start to order things and do things. So if you get a friend request from somebody you already are friends with, just go directly to that person, the person who's trying, the fake profile, and go to the cover photo and click report as you can do it. You can go into the more and report them as a fake profile. It will help your friend out immensely. But a lot of people, because once you friend them, then they're going to try to also maybe take over your profile. So that's the reason why you want to ignore that. But saying that, so the idea is not to connect with everybody that just wants to connect with you. You really need to be sure that A, that they're on the right platform, and B, that you have some interest that you want to speak with them about. Some people do it by a number, that there's like 15 people that they know. In between, then they'll see if they want to become friends or whatever. But I really, really believe in looking at who you're friending, looking at who you're connecting with prior to doing that, because if there's nothing there, then it's just a waste of time and energy, and you're going to get frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I have to say, I've had this slew of those friend requests on Facebook, and they're all good-looking middle-aged men.
Oh, like, I was just going to bring that up.
They apparently think this is who I want to meet or something, right? And they're wrong. But I'm just like, really? And I have no friends in common with them, or I'll have one friend in common with them, and it'll be some gullible woman I know, right? Who she fell for the spam.
Just delete and don't confirm it. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the big scam right now. Those are the two scams.
Mm-hmm. So I mark those as spam as well, especially if I look at them and they don't even have a single friend. Most of the time, they don't even have a single friend, let alone a friend in common.
Right. Or they just started it 20 minutes ago. Or you're like, oh, yay. Yeah. Glad you're on Facebook. Yeah, I don't need to be a friend.
No. So let's just say we get somebody, Wendy, who really they actually have a profile and they have a lot of friends, and they may or may not have common friends with you, but they reach out to you. What are some of the things that we should be looking at, and how would we analyze to determine whether or not we really should accept that friend request?
If they really want to speak with you and talk to you, then that's a great place to open the door. And you can do this with other too. Send them a message before you accept it and say, oh, I see you sent me a friend request. I really appreciate that. You can do one or two things in that messaging. I know some people who go directly to, but and I'm not a separation. I always say this. I think that we are complete people. I have a business page. I have groups, but I'm a complete person. I don't have to separate everything out for business and personal. But if you aren't comfortable with that, then in the direct message, have something prepared, and you can always tweak it that says, I really would love to connect with you. How about going over to my business pages, and then we can find out further how we can connect and what you're looking for and how I can help you. Because sometimes it is really somebody well-meaning. A lot of times people will go to a networking event and they will meet somebody and they're not going to remember the name of your company, but they'll remember your name. And so the natural thing is to just send you a friend request. And you may not realize, because, if you met 40 people, you're like, is that somebody I met today? Maybe you didn't get a card or whatever, and that's okay. So what you want to do is kind of do a little vetting through a private message, and then you can make a decision based on their response. Plus, if they're a spammer, then you'll know, because you'll see it in the text that they're sending something that's just pre-written or whatever. So that's the other thing that you can do. But once you have that, but set up something, and I do encourage, I think they need to be unique to you, but set up some auto responders that you can quickly change in and out, so that you can kind of know what you're vetting. One of the questions that I ask, and when we're doing target market is what is that first question you'd want to ask somebody about themselves to see if they're in your target market. So if you can answer that question, that's a great question to put in that message to see if that's really somebody you want to connect with or not. So that's one of the tips I have. And then the other thing is that did you all know that Facebook has been hiding your filter? Did you see all those posts that were going around that Facebook is hiding filtered messages from everybody? They're deciding what messages you see and what you don't see.
What? Are you talking about the IMs?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't see that.
Okay. If you have a iPhone, and here's the thing, because I showed this to somebody else, but a lot of people are missing business opportunities and they don't know it. It's because a lot of their messages are going into filtered messages, and Facebook has decided that you don't need to see that filtered message. What? So, yes. So what they're doing, if you have an iPhone, now here's the thing, and I have a little, let me see if I can change the lighting in here. Hold on, and I'll show you. Okay. It's still going to be bright. But if you are in your IM messaging, okay, and on your phone, if you go into me, You have to have the most updated Facebook messaging, whether on Android or iPhone, it does not matter. You have to have the most updated messaging. And this is for personal, but a lot of people send, I see Christy's question. This is for personal messaging, Facebook messaging, but a lot of people will send you a personal message for business and you've missed it and you don't even know it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into into messaging, and then you're going to scroll down to people. You're going to hit people, and you're going to see message requests across the top. What you'll see is two possible messages, a couple messages you may have missed, but what you have to click is see filtered messages, and you will go through and you will find filtered. I had like somebody who wanted to interview me for Pinterest. I had all of this stuff, and I did not know that it was there. And so then I was trying to respond to people. So
are you in the Facebook Messenger app or the messaging app?
Facebook messaging app.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook messaging app. So it filters. Once you go through and say see filtered messages, I noticed that Facebook stops filtering as many.
Well, I don't have an iPhone. I'm on an Android, and I do not see that. So is it not?
If it is on Android, and you can do this also on Facebook desktop, you can do the same thing. Go into your, I have to walk through it to do it. If you go into your messaging and you go to see all.
Okay.
You'll see something in the core. It'll say recent, and then it'll say message request.
Oh my God! There's 16 messages in filtered.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
I'm mad now.
I'm sorry.
I have like, oh my God, like pages.
And some of them are spam. I'm going to tell you now. That's where you want spam messages to go there. But I would tell you to check it. At least once or twice a week, because that's where those messages go and you don't know that they've gone.
There's a message in here from November 11th of last year.
Oh, wait. I have messages back from 2010.
Mm-hmm. That you did not even know that was there. Yes.
6-year-old messages.
Yep.
No, 2009.
Oh my gosh.
That's awful.
Yes. So it's their way, just like Gmail protects spam. It is their same way of doing it, except you know where your spam filter is, hopefully on your Gmail, and that's a whole other class. But this is what they do, and they're protecting you. And so you might be missing out on business invites if you don't know about it.
Wow. See why I hang out with her, Lynn?
Oh my gosh. Like this one, the most recent one from March 10th is this woman. Oh my gosh. She thinks I've ignored her. And this is a really nice message. And we've been Facebook friends for just a little while. And she's asking a question and now I've ignored her. Oh my God.
Yeah, but you don't know that. That's screwed up, you guys. Good morning, Sean. Welcome, Michael Mann. Hey, so glad you guys are here. You just missed some amazing stuff by Wendy because you guys just don't even know about all the Facebook messages you're actually missing. So we're not going to make her go back over that again because I'll put this in the group for the replay in the group for everybody. So yeah, I have 16 and now I'm like, what? Are you serious?
Oh, I have dozens.
Yes.
Dozens.
So make sure that you go back and you do check. And it's just like, and here's the other thing that most people don't know. Here's one other tip that you guys won't know. This is again on personal pages, and I know this is a business group, but it does help you, and it protects you.
Because most people reach out to you on a personal level anyway, as we were just talking.
Right, and so the more you guys know to help your clients is actually, they go, you are so smart. But the other thing to know is you should always check your Facebook private settings every 6 months. Facebook does updates all the time, and they make your private settings into a default. Saying that, most of the people will go through, and I have to give you the right name for it, they will go through their settings and they will say, okay, I'm really private. And they're so proud of themselves for being private, okay? And so what they do is they'll go into their settings and they'll say, all right, I've shut it off so that only, and here's the thing this is a business thing. I can't tell you how important it is to make where you work public if you want people to connect on your Facebook page. There's nothing worse than going to somebody's Facebook profile and clicking on the link of where they work, and it comes up to a page that Facebook has made for you based on what you wrote in.
Right, so the little white briefcase thing.
Oh, there's nothing worse than that. So go in and make sure that you're actually connected and linked to your actual Facebook page, and make sure that you have that on public. Besides that, though, go into your settings. Under apps, one of the settings is apps others use. I don't know if anybody knows that that's there. So you have made yourself completely private, but because your friends use apps, it tells the app company, all of my friends allow me to give them this information off of their profiles. So you've made yourself private, but your friends unknowingly are giving out all of your information. So go in.
Oh, I see. So when you check on apps others use, any box that is checked,
they can give you, they are giving the apps that you're giving the apps your friends use all of that information. If you're comfortable with it, that's fine. I tend to give more information than less, but it's what I do for a living. So I make that choice. If you are not comfortable, uncheck all of those boxes.
So where did you say that? Is that under settings for apps?
Yes, go under settings and go under apps.
Mm-hmm.
And it will stop the third-party marketers from getting your information. Because it is a wonder of how ads are run. I love the whole backstory of ads. It's what I do for a living. There is nothing more joyful to me than looking at analytics, but I know everything about most people on Facebook based on what they allow others to see. I know the kind of car you brought. I mean, not you personally, but in general, I can look at a page that has over 1,000 and it'll tell me that 85% of the people give their income out, give the car type of car they're about to buy, what they're going to buy, what kind of house they live in, if they're single, if they're not single. I know it all. And I may not know for you specifically. I don't want to freak people out. I don't know you specifically, and there's a reason why Facebook waits until you have 1,000 likes so that you can't pinpoint exactly who on the page likes it. But it's people like me who are going to go in and say, okay, I need to make sure this ad gets in front of you. This is how I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. And so if you're a private person, then you have the right to do that and the right to know about these settings. If you're like me, who I'm like, this is really cool technology, I'm really good with it. A lot of my stuff is public anyway, so I'm okay with it. We are, and I'm always harping on this, we are not a victim of social media. We are not a victim of, oh my gosh, they got my information. We are a victim of that. We are not making ourselves knowledgeable enough to protect ourselves so that we are not a victim. But we are not victims. We are agreeable audiences in participation if you don't do those two things.
I can see this replay is going to be hot, hot, hot in the group, Lynn. I'll tell you, every time I run into Wendy, she just turns me on to the most amazing, crazy stuff that I didn't even know was there. And I got to tell you, I kind of thought I knew a little bit about social media.
Yeah.
But
I would have said you did.
Yeah. You would have been fooled too.
Yeah.
So Lynn, let's talk about, I want you two to talk about a little bit about selling on social media, since you both, in a way, do sell on social media. Let's talk about some do's and some don'ts. Lynn, how do you reach out on social media?
You know, I'm a lot like Wendy. I'm just out there all over the place. I don't have super duper privacy settings or any of that. I'm like, I want to connect with more people. And I have 2 business pages. I have multiple groups I run on Facebook. I have, LinkedIn and Twitter, and those are my main platforms. But, nobody wants to be sold to. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be, in my mind, social media is about connecting with people and building relationships and putting information out that people might want. And if they connect with that information, then having a real conversation. It's not, in my world, it's not so much about, some sort of massive online sales funnel that's going to have, a big operation behind it digitally. It's more human than that for me. So, but that's because that's the nature of my business. But I'm also just all over the place in it. And my deep respect for people like Wendy who really understand all the ins and outs and keep up with it. I mean, that's the biggest thing. It's I'm a pretty good social media user, and people, my clients say to me all the time, well, I want to do what you do. I'm like, great, go hire a social media manager, because that's how I got to do what I do. Is I had a professional who taught me, and that's what I can't do that for you. And you're not me. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's important. I also wanted to say, Sabrina, back to what Wendy was saying about we're not victims so much as we are willing participants, and we don't pay attention. The truth is, I think that on so many levels and in so many layers of our lives, not just our social media, we really don't have the capacity to understand the degree to which we are willing participants. And, one piece of my business is a relationship with a company called Legal Shield that has the best I can't even talk all of a sudden. The best program for protecting our identities, because we can't monitor ourselves, everything that's out there, and because we can't fix it ourselves. And that's what gives me peace of mind. It's what makes me be able to do what Wendy was saying, which is just kind of let it all be available and let it all, it doesn't mean I accept those fake Facebook friend requests from the good-looking middle-aged men that I don't have anything in common with, right? But it does mean that I don't worry if I connect with one of those by mistake or something because 8 of my friends did. You know what I mean? I don't worry as much because I have the back-end protection to monitor what matters and to fix it for me if it happens. So that's important, I think, on that respect. What were you getting ready to ask, Sabrina? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I don't know.
It was gone.
That thought, some of those thoughts flit into my head and they flit back out so fast that sometimes I miss them. So, right?
I hear you. Well, we were talking about selling, and I just think, I really just think nobody wants to be sold to on social media. Not on your business page, not on your personal page, not anywhere do people want to be sold to. It's one thing to put some great information out there and package it in a way that's interesting and all that stuff. And that's what people like Wendy are so good at helping us do as business people, is what is the appropriate message and how to package it. And most of us don't have the capacity to figure that out on our own, I think.
So you are a sales coach, Lynn. I think I just found my thought. You are a sales coach. So you clearly, even though we talk about the fact that people don't want to be sold to on social media, we are selling to them. That is why we're there if we're in business. So how much time do you spend on social media, and how do you structure that selling? Because there is a sales pitch in everything you do in some way, whether it's just getting to know you better, driving them to your groups, right? You follow what I'm saying here?
I do. So as far as how much time do I spend on social media, I've gotten so much better at this. And it's because I've tried all kinds of different things, but in the end, social media can be the biggest time suck. That's exactly the word I was thinking of. It just can. It can just really undo your week if you let it. And so I've been very conscious about that. And I've found some apps that have helped. My new favorite app is called Ripple, RIPL, and it creates these wonderful little animated memes that are short videos, and they get great engagement. People love them. That's my new time saver. right? It's a great way to put together some quick content. I can do it from my phone on the fly in between appointments, So I try to stay plugged in and be responsive, but not spend blocks of time on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ripple, huh?
Yeah.
We're going to have
RIPL.
So when you say not try to spend blocks of time on social media, again, how much time do you spend? How much do you think you are there every day?
Quantify it. Maybe if I added up all the few minute times sprinkled throughout my day, maybe an hour.
Oh, wow.
But I don't spend it all in one block. Social media is something I do on the fly, in between the gaps in between other things, mostly. Now, there are a few things I schedule and do, like some things for my different groups. Like I have a couple of client groups that are closed secret groups just for my clients. And so I spend that's a little more planned, kind of strategic. But in terms of just the content, I enjoy the go with the flow kind of aspect of that. That's just part of my personality, though. Some people really have to say, I'm going to spend an hour on Tuesday morning from 9 to 10. That's not me. That's
scheduling all this stuff.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm just not going to do it.
So you don't schedule anything. Your stuff is all just spontaneous.
More organic. Yeah. More spontaneous and organic than that. Yeah. I see something and I grab it and share it right then. Is
that one of the things that you tell your clients, Wendy, or do your clients learn to schedule? Let's talk about some best practices.
So some best practices. I think, it's so funny that you say that, Lynn, because I had my old coach was that person. And I'd say, I don't know how I ended up coaching you in social media, because she was just like, it's pretty. I'm going to go online now. I'm like, okay, it was just, and so I try to coach to who the person is. I have planners, and oh my gosh, if their whole minute in life is not planned, they would go insane. As far as time management, though, goes, I tell people who get involved in the time suck of social media that anything you do, I work with a client in Paris, and she was like, I go on Twitter every day, and it's 2 hours later, and I don't have this kind of time. And I'm like, whoa, because anything that you do online, it has to be somewhat strategic. There's going on for fun, and then there's going on for your business and being strategic about it. So before you get online, you really should have at least a mini plan, even if it's for the week, of what you are going to do, and then a time limit. So what I tell people who are like in the time suck, because the average Facebook user goes on 7 hours a day at some point in time.
Oh, wait, that's me.
What's really important to know about that is that that's where your target market is, and that's where you should be spending your time. Saying that, though, what I tell my clients is, whether it's your phone or a tomato timer, whatever it is, set that timer. Know why you're going on, what your purpose, get on, get off. And then if you have 5 minutes at the end, because you were so strategic of why you were going on and what you were doing, then spend it having fun. Because now you've given yourself a little break. But that timer is key. Saying that unplanned is okay as long as you know that you're getting something out of that. There's nothing wrong with unplanned content that comes up. Somewhat having it planned is a good, important thing, because if it's not planned, then you don't know what your ROI on it is. And so depending on where you're posting that unplanned content, if it's on your personal page because it's fun and you want people to reach out, that's great. But I tell people to usually start from there, especially if it's important content, start on your business page. Put it there first, then share it into a group. If you're involved in a group, if it's a private group for your clients, that's different. But if you're involved in any of the other groups, like I do a lot of networking within groups, because I've gone to the table and I want to build relationships within those groups. So share content from your business page to a group, to your personal profile, and do it that way. So you can use something like Hootsuite to start off and disperse the content. And again, you're writing it in a way that makes sense for the platform you're putting it on, but then go into the social media site itself and then disperse it so that you can see, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to go to your Facebook page and say, look, these 5 or these 3 posts did the best this week. This is really what my audience is looking for. And if you have some sort of strategic, then you're not spending so much time the next week trying to figure out what you're supposed to be writing, because you have an idea and you already know. In general, videos, the ripples, all of those things are usually doing the best right now. The biggest thing right now is Facebook Live. That is a huge thing. You can do it in a group. You can do it if you have a phone. I have God love one client. She's not getting a phone. She's like, that's the greatest thing. I'm like, you need a phone. She won't get one. She's like, it's the greatest thing I won't be doing because I'm not getting a smartphone. So, but you can do it. And so what I do is I plan topics for each of if like I have a private group just for people who are on my Blog Talk Radio show. So the topic there may be something different than I would post anywhere else. I have a private group for people who go to my webinars or 7-day challenges, and you have to have done one of those to get into there. So I do have things that make sense, and so the content that I'm putting out there is going to be different than the content I'm putting out on my business page. And so I think that it's important. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and again, it goes to the person. If you have a creative person who does better on the fly, I'm not going to fight that. I know better. We're not going to, but as long as there's some broad, but I do help with the broad scope of topics so that they don't have a day where they get lost. And so I start with a broad scope content calendar about if you had nothing to post, maybe on Wednesdays you could focus on this so that they're not, because the other side of what I see is because people do so much on the fly, they spend 6 hours trying to create something instead of at least having the right idea for the client. So that's the other thing that I try to balance out, is not have that, oh my gosh, now what am I going to post today? What am I going to post today? Oh my, because they have nothing planned at all.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's typically what happens, I think. I just want to remind our audience real quick, you guys, that one of the ways that you can meet Wendy Manganaro and Lynn Schussler-Williams live is through attending some of our virtual networking groups, which are always live and free. Today we have Brooke Borup will be hosting a group at 4 p.m. Eastern. She typically teaches you tips and tricks similar to Wendy's, not on social media, on other tech type things like Google or Google Docs or Gmail and all kinds of super cool stuff. And that's happening at 4 o'clock. We are live with audio and video. So you do get the opportunity to meet everybody in the room and exchange contact information with everybody in the room. So if you can sell, I know we're talking a lot about selling here, talking about soft selling, but if you can sell your product and service outside of your geographical area, then you need to join us. Ladies, go ahead.
Just to say, I'm going to be helping Brooke next month. She's given me the opportunity. I haven't decided what to, but I'll be teaching 2 LinkedIn courses next month with her.
For Brooke?
Yeah.
Ooh, awesome.
Wonderful.
Yes, I'll take it to the topics.
And if you guys are not members, membership is currently free. It's $1.49, $1.49, I think it is a year. That's just to keep the bots out at this point in time. So you know what? We're kind of young at networklivevirtually.com, just like Blab and a lot of other new young things. So when you get in on the ground floor, it's going to make a difference to the amount of money you spend, because some point in time, our membership rates will be monthly. So I have posted those links to join and the links for Brooke Borup today. Let me tell you what she's got going on. She is, what in the heck are Google Forms and why should I care? Is what is what she's going to be doing today at 4 p.m. Ladies, take a quick moment. Lynn, did you find your book?
I did. I found my book. You wanted to see it.
Yes, I love your book.
9 little words to change the results.
Still waiting for my signed
Find
copy.
it on Amazon. All right.
And Lynn's book is a must-have. Michael Mann knows for sure. So
Thank
Lynn,
you, Michael Mann.
Share some links, Lynn. Where can we find you? Where can we find your book? What's happening? What's coming up? Fill us in.
All right. So I've been traveling the last 2 weeks, and so this is my first Monday home in literally 2 weeks. So I have no idea what's happening. There's the link to the book. My website is indiesalescoach.com. So you can find me there. I'll put that in. And if you want more information about that identity theft protection or Legal Shield and our protections for families and small business, there you can find that at lsprotection.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Lynn. And Miss Wendy, let's hit some links up here. Let everybody know how they can find you, where they can find you, and what do you have coming up? You said you were going to do some trainings for Brooke, but don't you have a webinar or something coming up too?
Yes, everybody missed my free one that I had last week, but I do have in the month of May, the first 3 Wednesdays, I am having an intensive workshop to go from Target to Facebook groups. We're talking about LinkedIn, Canva, and Hootsuite. So if anybody wants to join that, they can go to my Facebook page and find out all the information they'd like on that. I'd love to have them join me because I only work with small groups, so I'm very clear about that. That if they want in, there's only 10 spots available for me. But I only do small groups. I don't like big, massive things because I think that communities work better together. And then I start a private community so they can stay connected and continue to help them network with each other.
Wendy, if you would put in your links, and also Kathy has a question. Kathy, please go right ahead. Please put your question in there because we are absolutely happy to answer your question. So Wendy, the thing you got coming up, the intensive you got coming up, is that a free or a paid workshop?
That one's a paid one. It is $167 for 3 events, and they will get a lot. They'll get a good strategy, some content, how to get their content. They'll know who they are and especially where they're supposed to be, and then how to utilize the actual tips on how to utilize the network, Facebook groups, LinkedIn, and how to do their own graphics through Canva for free, practically for free, and also how to utilize Hootsuite so that they're not in the time suck, so that they can go to one place and post everything.
Do you use the free version of Canva or the Office version?
I use the paid because I'm on so many different social networks. But when I test things, I always test the free versions out first because I want to make sure that before I recommend it to anybody. But for a long time, I used it's $10 for 11 photos at a time, and I use that as I needed it, or I would just use free photos altogether.
But you said okay, so I'm going to ask you for one more tip or trick. Why would we want to use the paid version of Canva?
Paid version for Canva for me works because I don't want to create things in 5 different sizes, but I want them all for my social network. So they have what's called the abracadabra. It's very cute, but I can pick if I'm going to write a post with a graphic up for Twitter and then another one for Instagram and another one for Facebook, then I can choose and it magically resizes all of them at one time instead of me going in and putting the coordinates in for each picture. So for me, that works, but that doesn't mean if you're on one social network and you can go in and do Facebook every time, or if you're on 2, Facebook and Instagram, it's okay to interchange. You start with the smallest one and put it on the other network. But if you're a professional like me, I have to have it sized correctly for everything I put something on.
And how much is that paid version, Wendy?
I think I pay like $12.99 a month for it. It's really super inexpensive. And like I said, the great thing about it is that you can pay $10 and get 11 photos that you need to use. Another great thing is you can upload your logo to it, so you always have it there as you create things because you should watermark anything you're doing. So that's another reason why I really like it. It's just very easy. The other great thing is, and here is some tips and tricks that I'm going to give people. If you don't want to pay the $10 a month, that's not your thing. You just want to be able to, you're on a really tight budget. I like to always have options for those people. There are sites that will send you free photos every single week. They're fantastic, and I'm going to give you them because I have them all looped in. Hold on, let me find them. One of them is, I have them sent to my Gmail every week. Hold on, I'll give you all. Michael from Crew is one of them. And they send 10 photos every week
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is
Michael from Crew. That's with Unsplash, right?
Unsplash. That's it.
Unsplash.com.
Yep. And so it's Snapwire, Stock Snapio, and then Unsplash. Those are the three that I get from. And Ed Stockpic, STOKPIC, is another one. And they're great. And they send you the thing. The one that I like the best, because it's a little bit better than just the free one, is, nope, it is Snap. Of course, now that I want to tell you which one it is, I can't find, Stock Snapio. And the reason why I like that one is that you can actually search in there for the free pictures you need. So once they send you the 10, that's great, but you can click any link and search for what you need in the photos, and they're always free.
I've had good luck with Pixabay.
Yeah, I use Pixabay a lot.
Mm-hmm. I like Pixabay. Sometimes the quality is not quite as high, but you can search for whatever topic you like, and it always has some paid options, like from Shutterstock or somebody at the top.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy Crowley says, just transitioning into a new occupation, do I create a web page first?
Yes.
Who wants to answer that?
I will, if you don't mind.
That's not me.
I think that websites are imperative to a business to have reliability to. I think a lot of people make the mistake on going on social only, and people want to know if you can somehow get a .com too. And also you want to pay for your URL for at least 2 to 5 years so that they know that you're not going anywhere tomorrow, because people research that stuff. So all of those things, it's imperative to have a website. I prefer WordPress. I think it's the easiest one that transition with social media. But I really think it's very, very important. It's the only thing you own.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, Wendy, and I think that's a really important thing, and I think that's probably one of the reasons so many of us like WordPress so well. Is if for some reason I have a falling out with my hosting company, I can actually pack up my motorhome and drive it to a new park and park it. Yep. So without changing my name. So it is like owning your own real estate. And I think it's really, really important that you own your own real estate. There are lots of people in our groups, Kathy, that do WordPress websites. Also, I do them. Frugal Web Guy, who is talking to you right there, does them. Also, here is the link for Brooke Borup's meeting this afternoon at 4 p.m. And she teaches, the first part of the meetings is always 20 minutes of some kind of training. She teaches some amazing training. So don't be afraid. I mean, if you've got to just jump out there and do these things and meet these people. So show up at that meeting, meet some people, learn the things that you need to learn, ask the questions. Don't be afraid. Otherwise, you're going to be hanging out here in electronic land for lifetime, right?
Yeah, I want to say to that too, that I agree with everything everybody just said. And to answer Kathy's question, a website doesn't have to take a year.
No.
Get the help you need and get it done. And yes, you can still go ahead and set up your Facebook page for your business or whatever's quick and easy to get something done, but don't let it be a distraction. Don't let building a website stop you from selling something, for instance. So get the help you need and get it done.
Yeah, and the other thing is there is, as you get closer, you don't want to start your social media after the website is built, because you do want an audience to go there when it's done. But I agree. Usually, and I don't know if you ladies agree, that it's not always the website designer's fault that it's late, it takes forever. It's you getting the content. And that's where I think you're talking about. Don't let it take a year. Should not take a year to get content to a web designer. Right. So no, and it shouldn't be a surprise that you need it. So either get a content writer, target salesperson, whatever, to get the right content. But that is the biggest thing that I see as a holdup to websites. It's usually not the website designer. It's the person trying to give you content for 6 months.
Or trying to do it themselves and come up with their content. It's just, don't do it. Just get the help you need, give them what they need, and get it done. It can be quick.
It can be. Yes, and you can change it. You can change it. You don't have to, you know what I mean? If you get something up, even if it's a landing page, and you can build out behind it. Fantastic. But it's WordPress. It's like a Word document. You can go in and go, you know what? I need to switch my messaging. It's not resonating, and whatever, as long as you get something up.
Right. Don't think it has to be perfect. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest challenges I deal with clients is what I call the big D, distractions. And I cannot tell you what a big one that is.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, I want to say thanks so much for your time, spending your time with us today. I want to remind everybody once again that you can hang out with like-minded people at 4 p.m. with Brooke Borup. This coming Wednesday at 2 p.m., we got Christy Smallwood's meeting. She is in the room here somewhere as well. And then, of course, we've got another one on Tuesdays, another one on Wednesday mornings. We have Diana Sandora, who will be starting her meetings fresh this Friday, I believe, at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we'll now actually have a Friday meeting as well.
Awesome. Got to run, you guys. I got a client coming.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording. Bye.
Bye.